This is the game Near Chess, and this is how I'm going to show you how to play it. I want to go a little bit in the background first. There's Christian Freeling. He came up with the game Grand Chess on pretty much a 10x10 board as an alternative to regular chess. The pieces add to you also get two additional pieces in the game, so the board's wider. The bishop, you have a bishop piece that also adds how a knight moves, and a rook how a knight moves. I'll explain a little bit how these pieces move after a bit. Anyhow, I decided to drop pieces back and somehow move the pieces, the rooks back on both sides, and decide how to pretty much drop them back, and then figure out bringing the other pieces I mentioned into the game. Well, I then said, let me look at it if I move forward, and go, wow, that's interesting. There was a game somebody came up called Scrimmage Chess. So I asked about it, discovered it was wondering what happened. And then John Kipling Lewis, this is on the internet, suggested instead of doing this here, why don't you just take out all the rules? I mean, there's rules for castling, where the rook and the knight move. There's something called en passant, where, let's say, for example, you move 2, you come across and capture, you take it out. Also, make the game not checkmate, but if you capture the enemy king, you win the game. So it had that stripped down. So I ended up giving it the name Near Chess because it's near chess. Pieces are closer and the rules are similar. So again, the object here is to capture the enemy king. There isn't checkmate. As I said, you got different pieces. You see this board layout? I'm going to take the pieces off to show different things on how they move. Okay, let me take them off. We'll do the fun. Let's start with the king piece. The king piece, and black's going to be heading this way and white goes that way. King piece, as I said, moves one space, like this here, in any of these 8 directions, like this here. You have the king does that. You also have a queen. Queen does an extended version of the king, moving in a straight line like this, as you can see. Not allowed to move through. Same thing with the king. If there's a piece in the way, it's not allowed to move through it to get there, particularly its own. If there's an opponent's piece, he could, for example, capture, and that's what capturing is in this game, is you move on top of the piece and you remove it from the board. You have the queen that does that. Let's start off with the next piece, the rook. The rook is like the king and queen. And if you know chess, you could probably, I'll show you what you take out, but anyhow. They move orthogonally like this, vertically and or horizontally. That's how they move. Again, not moving for pieces. You then have the bishop, which is kind of like a rook, but moves diagonal. One thing you'll learn here, as I'm showing this, is this. If you learn this, you could teach this to people and then teach them regular chess. Because there is another game I have called Near versus Normal Chess, where you can add normal chess rules. This is one of probably the more complicated pieces. It moves in a straight line, 2, and then does an L shape. Pretty much, normal chess do it that way. It also has the ability to leap over pieces. It has to land on an empty space or an opponent's space to capture. Now the pawn is probably the most complicated piece of regular chess, but not here. Remember, it starts there, and it will go forward one space only. Okay, one space only. It also captures diagonally. So if there's an enemy piece here, let's say a bishop. No, we're just showing examples of the queen. Okay. You can capture it and you eliminate it. Pawns also have more. Why did I say it's complicated? Because pawns also have another ability besides moving. Oh, before this, people know chess about en passant, where the pawn moves forward 2 spaces. By the way, this doesn't happen here, because pawns only move 1 space. But in regular chess, say I have a pawn here, and I move this forward 2 spaces. The next turn only, I can choose to respond and capture that. It comes off the board. Now, how do you win the game? Oh, one more thing, promotion. Here's another thing they do. If I march a pawn down, and let's say, for example, these were the captured pieces I have. And let's go with black has, go this here. I'm not going to give black a queen this time, just to show you. Let's say black has this. Black has this. And the white side, which is more tannish here, has this. I move a pawn to the last row. Remember, white's moving this way. I get to recover one of these pieces that are here. I get to put a queen on the board where it landed, move down there, landed, put a rook on the board, gain a rook or a knight. Black, the dark pieces, get only this, and because they have a queen, they don't do it. It's by replacement, because one of the things you have here with this house, every single chess set they sell commercially, almost all of them are broken because they don't give you enough queens and they want to promote queen. Here's a basic question you have for you. You can choose how to handle it, and here's my suggestion. And this is, if you follow my suggestion, you're adding one rule that's not normal chess. If I were to move, and this really almost never happens, but it can happen. Let's say, for example, there were no captured, there were no pieces that were captured. The board's full of your own, and you push pawn to the back row. What I'd recommend is that's a win for white, because usually the person who gets first person gets two queens on the board does it. You'd be assuming to get a queen, so that's what would happen. So anyhow, the object of the game is to capture the enemy king. You do that by moving a space legally and taking it off the board. Another thing that can happen here, because there's no stalemate in this game, which means that piece can't move into check. If, for example, let's say we're here, and let's say white we're down here, okay, and you get a black queen comes down that way, the dark queen, and these are the last two pieces left. The white piece has no move. It's going to move into check and does it. This would normally be get captured. In regular chess, that would be a stalemate. Here it's a win, so you're allowed to have something like this. Okay, so you're able to do that, and then that's going to be a win for black. Anyhow, that's done to simplify things. Now, I do want to thank you for watching. I'm going to go into another video, which I'll point back to this one, what I call near versus normal chess. You can play this here against you can play this against normal chess rules, and it gives you more type of opening plays you can do. Anyhow, I do want to thank you for watching, and may your die always roll 5.